What I actually did was develop some spreadsheets with those 65 costs in a spreadsheet. And I went and picked a couple of breakdowns, historic breakdowns, and I went back through that breakdown and analysed that to death. Every single cost that breakdown caused the company, right down to the meetings in the meeting room amongst supervision to discuss how to repair that problem. Pick up every single cent, because the company will pay for it all. What we don't see, and what accountants in the company don't see, and what the CEO doesn't see, is the other costs that the company's forking out, but just don't have a value for. So I want to find all those costs, because that's what the risk is to the business, losing all that money. Not just maintenance repair, not just the downtime and product they couldn't make, but everything that flows across the whole business for the coming months after the breakdown. Very onerous process. There is no software out there that does this for us. I think a progression for industry will be to actually begin pricing the true total cost of their breakdowns. That'll be a huge progression, because nothing can be hidden then. The real cost will come in everybody's face and it'll scare them to death. That's why I'm so sure when it comes to Planet Equipment Wellness, there's big dollars in our concepts, absolute fortunes, because nobody sees how much money falls off the table or is left in the pile that could have been gotten hold of so easily if they could see where it was.
Why do you think management hasn't been willing to look at these costs? I mean, it's not like they're invisible, but they just have ignored them.
What I find, if companies are meeting budget, everybody's happy. Now, as long as you are achieving the target, if you were set to hit a budget, why rock the boat? Why go out and make more work for yourself and cause more trouble for someone else? So yeah, once companies are happy in this little world of, oh, we're meeting budget, we're meeting target, there's no drive, there's no incentive to look for anything else. What they miss, of course, is there is value in looking for that.
What I've also discovered is they set their budgets based on covering these costs. They accept this risk because it's always happened. Yeah. So to get, to get outside, because many times I've asked, well, how do you set your annual business plan when I'm talking to them about, especially maintenance or engineering budgets, and they use historic data to set their next year's AVP. And
Exactly.
I've discovered that. So this is hidden from them.
Yeah, exactly. No one's actually showed them where their money is going. Right. It's just a bucket of money is given to them, and that bucket's big enough to cover all the hassle and problems they're actually accepting.
Exactly. They accept it.
But then when you say, well, there may be more to this picture, do they just not want to hear it?
Well, one of the reasons I'm here is I want to learn how to show it to them better. There's two things. One is you have to show them the picture clear enough so they're willing to make the leap of faith and go down the reliability path. The second is, based on my own experience, you have to be prepared to lead them once they make the leap of faith.
Yes.
I've had trouble in both avenues. When I've gotten them to make the leap of faith, I haven't been well enough prepared to lead them.
Yes. And you need to have believable evidence. You can't make this up. It has to be real. The fact they haven't seen it themselves, that's one issue. But now you've shown it, this is what it really is, and here's why I know that's right, because I've got your data and I've looked at your breakdowns and I've gone and talked to your people, and here's the full story of what's really happening in your business. So yeah, a lot of this stuff we're discussing is how to make the invisible visible to those that haven't got eyes to see it in the first place.
Is this a real critical point for PEW? It's a sticking point that you have to overcome, or the rest of it doesn't work so well.
That's why I wanted to get this ratio. I wanted to get a ratio of direct maintenance cost, because that's the easy one, unquestionable out of their computer system, their numbers. If I can get a ratio that represents the full business loss, then I just multiply that by 10 and say, that $10,000 job in direct maintenance cost wasn't $10,000 that cost you. It cost you $100,000, possibly $100,050. Is that okay with you? Are you willing to carry that risk? So yeah, and what we typically would do in a company, we would go and get 3 or 4 of their breakdowns and go and analyse their business in their situation and come back with these spreadsheets for their business and say, Mr. Manager, Mr. CEO, here's what's happening. Here's what's really happening. And of course, out of that, there'd be a big pile of money sitting there, shining gold that they can get. But they've got to change their ways. Remember, they are where they are today because of the past practices and processes that are adopted. Their result today is a process outcome of what they're doing. I've got to change the process. If I want to get that gold back into my pocket, I've got to get a process that brings the gold that's now falling off the table into my vault. And what they're now doing won't do it. If it could, they'd be doing it, but it can't. They've got to change. They've got to see, and is the change worthwhile? How much money will it cost to make the change? How much will I get back from that change? And unless it's a business case, neither you nor the CEO anywhere in the world would accept a change. It has to be money, and guaranteed money, certain money without question. I wouldn't want to take a business down a path that's going to cost a lot of money and uncertainty without knowing at the end this investment will pay back. So PEW is all about building a really powerful business case very early on before we start making the changes, proving that this is wrong, this is not paying off, you're losing so much money, you do these changes, here's the risk, here's the number of risks, we address these risks in this way. Because the risks are now removed, I can guarantee with you, if you do what we suggest from our analysis, you will produce this much extra profit.
Do you think this would apply also to a service business that did not have equipment, heavy equipment?
The principles would certainly do that. Yeah, it's not about machinery, it's about where the money flow is in the company. Wherever the money flow is, we're going to monitor the money flow, we're going to gauge what's happening with that money. If it's a wasted money, we're going to pick it up and say, well, this is waste, and we can save that by 50%.
For example, there's a huge business in this country of connected with medical insurance claims, people just entering information. And it's estimated that 3 to 5% of all those entries are defective.
Easy.
And so that means these people, these 3 to 5% have improper information in their medical records.
Could be dangerous.
And you don't know who the 3 to 5% are. So, you know, there are consequences all the way downstream.
Well, their life, yeah, absolutely. Look, to me, they're universal principles. If you can turn something into a process, boxes and arrows on a piece of paper, this will work. So what that process represents, not important.